I'm going to tell you about a very generous offer that Tesla is just about to make to Elon Musk that can possibly make him the richest man in a solar system. The reason I say solar system is because by then, some of us might be living on Mars if he has his way. Also, Google and Jaguar are in the news and the comment of the day. We're going to talk about it all right here, right now, in the next 10 minutes live at E4 Electric, your #1 source for what's happening now in the world of electric cars. And we're going to start right now. Well, this is very interesting. So Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla right now, as you know, and he's not getting paid. He is not collecting any salary. Everything that he earns is in his bonuses, the performance bonuses. He's done very well. Well, some people are speculating that after Model 3 launches and it looks like it's on its way to a pretty successful a year, he might kind of lose interest and step back and maybe put more of his time into SpaceX or Boring Company and so forth. So the board is just about to make him an offer that would keep him on as a CEO in a very active position in the next 10 years. What they're offering is once again very much a performance-based bonus system that will heavily tie into the net worth of the company, how much the company is going to be worth. Now, right now, it's worth about $60 billion. Now, once it gets to $100 billion, he will get a bigger percentage of the company. And after that, with every $50 billion that company grows, he's going to get extra percent until $650 billion. Well, he'll get up to 12% of the company. That way he'll own over 30% of the company, which will make him worth about $200 million. That will make him the richest man on the planet, because right now, in comparison, Bill Gates is the richest man at about $87 billion. So Elon might just go ahead and make that list, which I think will be very well worth. I mean, to me, he's my personal hero. Really think of him what you want as a person, but I think it will be well deserved. Now, at the same time, it is a pretty steep hill to climb. Yes, he has 10 years, but just to compare right now, there are only 3, I believe, American companies that are worth more than $650 billion. And of course, you can probably guess who they are. It's Google. Well, Alphabet is a company that owns Google. Amazon and Apple, right? So, but at the same time, you know, you definitely don't want to write him off as someone who can't make it, because I believe he's just as good as the rest of those guys in top 10 of that billionaire list. So that is very, very interesting. They're just about to make that offer to him. We'll see if he takes it, but this is definitely very interesting. Just wanted to get into the chat and say hi to everyone's joining in. Steven from Northern California, Flynn567, New Zealand, Bruna from Connecticut, Monkey Ride, haven't seen you in a while, from United Kingdom, of course. Upstate New York, Gary. From Texas, Kevin, of course. Preston Noonan, Ontario, Canada. Isaac from New Zealand, of course. Tony from Minneapolis. So many of you guys, welcome to the show. Thank you. Thank you so much. Before I get into the next exciting news of the day, I just want to remind you that this video on this channel is sponsored by Evanex, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla. If you want to buy something there, first go into the description of this video, grab your own personal discount code. Okay, let's move on now. The next news is Google. Well, Google is, as you know, they have had an electric car project for a while now, and it's called Waymo now, and they have been testing their retrofitted Chrysler vans as a transportation service, like Uber-like service, and they've been doing it especially in 7 different states. But in Phoenix, they literally have these vans pull up to you without a driver in the driver's seat. Now, there's still Google employee there in the seat right next to you, but nevertheless, it's actually a car that has no one behind the wheel. Now, they've been testing it for a while, but at the same time, it's people say, well, you know, it's only in a small area that they're testing it. And the reason for that is they're not using regular maps. They're using 3D maps. So you have to literally map it all out and in 3D the entire city or the entire area before they're comfortable in making this happen. Of course, LiDAR is a big technology that needs the 3D imaging. And so now they are starting to map Atlanta, Georgia. That's a new city that they're announcing that they're going to add to their test areas. Of course, they're picking different cities in different areas to test different conditions. You know, Phoenix, Arizona has a lot of dust. Atlanta is going to have some snow. They already have some, I believe, Seattle they're testing, you know, to make sure there's some snow there. Of course, California here in Mountain View, where I took this picture myself right here on Castor Street in Mountain View. So they tried to test it in different parts of the United States with different conditions. As you know, LiDAR and radar are, you know, tough on different conditions are tough on them. So it is definitely an exciting thing that they're expanding. So that's another good news that that we got going on. Now Justin in the chat room says 200 billion will be in 10 years if Elon will execute the new proposed Tesla plan. That's correct. That's a 10-year plan. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I think it did. Just going back to our Elon Musk story a second ago. All right, let's talk about another exciting news now. As you know, I've been talking about this car that's coming out at the end of this year, Jaguar I-Pace, all-electric SUV with a range over 200 miles from SUV, something that I'm actually, from Jaguar. Something that I will be looking into as well when my Tesla lease expires. But it looks like they're announcing that, you know, they've already committed to 2020 to electrify the entire fleet. But usually people, you know, say, well, most of them probably going to be hybrids. Well, they're actually putting a pretty good commitment here to electric cars, because I-Pace is going to be out. Now they're saying their XJ sedan, full-size sedan, which I love the way it's designed. You can see in the video right here, that will be also electrified all the way to being an all-electric car. Now, they don't have any specs yet, but that is still pretty aggressive way to push out their electric car technology. So I'm excited that now it's going to be another car, and they're saying that that's going to be coming in 2020, I believe, or by 2020. So that's pretty exciting. Let's see. Do you have an EV scotch? I don't know what that is, says Eco Kids in the chat room. Argosy 2 says mapping the city in 3D will be a gigantic glob of data. Yes, it will be. Now we're going back to our Waymo story right here. And yes, and that's why it's taking them a while. That's why they're only testing it in a certain area. They don't want to map out the entire United States and realize they need something else to figure out how to do this. So they're doing it the right way. They're mapping it all out. So that's the right way to do it. And they're doing it little by little, but nevertheless, level 4 autonomy, no driver behind the seat. They're doing it right now. And that's why there was a controversial story coming out how Tesla was dead last in the research that they did in autonomous technology, and Waymo was number 2. And you know, the reason for that is that because they're doing it. Yes, you can buy this car yourself, but it doesn't make this technology any less good or better than Tesla's just because you can get your hands on it. It is out there. Okay, another thing I just kind of actually wanted to mention, something exciting. As you know, I went to CES over the last couple of weeks ago, and there I met Nikki from Transport Evolved. That's her channel is. And today, she posted an interview that she did with me and Kate right there to my right. You can check it out on her channel right now. It's already posted. It is analyzing the Toyota Media Day, so you can check it out. So it's youtube.com/Transport Evolved. I watch her channel all the time, so I really appreciate it being on her channel. Now on my channel, my interview with her, I'm going to post it in a couple of weeks once I'm done posting all of my CES videos. But right now, my Patreons who contribute to my channel, if you'd like to do so, the link is also in the description of this video. They can see her entire interview with me. That's going to be posted, but most likely cut down in a couple of weeks. Meanwhile, another video from CES coming today for you guys, and this one is from the Mercedes-Benz, my interview with their chief engineer and a couple and one more person who's in charge of their self-driving technology. So watch out for that. It's going to be posted at 6 p.m. Pacific time today. And of course, Nikki's interview with me is already on her channel. So that's pretty good. I'm excited to work with her. Always love her channel, so it's great to meet her and great to work with her on the same cause. Ryan Stone Cowboy says already viewed the video with T this morning. Transport Involved. All right, let me know what you think. RB says in the chat room they're focused on one region with level 4. Tesla is trying to generalize to everywhere, so that last is dead wrong. Well, RB, here's the thing. It's first of all, it's hard to compare, right? So everything is very it's very relative to everything. But at the same time, and we're gonna move on to a comment of the day just in 1 second, guys. But at the same time, you have to understand that technology is a technology. It is not something that has to be in production for everybody. It doesn't have to be even in a production car. If they're able to do the technology based on the 3D maps, then the technology is there. Maybe 3D maps are not there yet, but the technology is there. So I believe that's how they compared it. And listen, I don't understand why people are defending Tesla's autopilot at this point. Listen, they released it 3 years ago. And with a second version of their autopilot, they still haven't caught up to their first version for 3 years. Do you really think that the rest of the companies are not going to catch up? The autopilot technology is mainly all about the software right now, not the hardware. Everyone's got the hardware, but the software, and it's software you can catch up pretty quickly, okay? Just living here in Silicon Valley, I can tell you. And it's no surprise when Tesla's been kind of chasing their tail for 3 years, the other companies have passed her by. I mean, there's, Tesla doesn't have to be best at everything, Burnt in the chat room says, Alex, do you know if Elon promises on FSD for M3 front, what does have FSD say? For, I'm blanking out. For a Model 3 is level 4, level 5 autonomy. Listen, I don't care Model 3 or Model S or whatever, the level 4 autonomy, I don't think is going to be coming for a while. It might, but level 5 is just not going to happen for at least 3 more years. So I think that's, don't be too excited about it. Level 4 maybe. Okay, let's just move on to the comment of the day, because that is my favorite part of the whole show. And this one comes from David Bettler. He says Tesla will have trucks on the road shortly after the Model Y. He's referring to the segment that I did about a workhorse truck, electric truck that I saw at CES, and you can you can see it on my channel. He says no sense in buying a workhorse in 2020 when you can go full EV just 2 years later. Tesla needs to get Fremont running smoothly so they can get to work on the new plant to make the Tesla trucks, semis, and Model Y. Okay, here's the thing. The workhorse truck is pretty much going to be available by the end of the year. And if you want an electric truck, I know it only has 80 miles with an extender, I guess extended to 400. Well, this is the only choice right now. Tesla hasn't still even announced the Model Y. They're probably going to do it, especially with Kia Niro EVs going to in production this year. But then Tesla will take probably at least 1 more year to make it, and there will be a waiting list, and then even with that it might take another 2 years. Then they have to design and announce the truck, the pickup truck. Then they're gonna have to make it, and probably and don't forget, there is no place at the factory right now. The factory is just too full right now, so they're gonna have to build another factory, put together the Model Y line production, then put together the pickup truck. It probably will be another 3 or 4 years, okay? So, but if you're looking for a somewhat electric truck right now, then workhorse is really just going to be your only choice. So I just wanted to say that, I think you've been a little too optimistic with Tesla, and if anything, they proved to us that even though they do deliver amazingly on their promises, they almost never deliver that on time. And that's comment of the day. Let's see. Venue says it's midnight in India and I'm watching you live. It's afternoon here, so welcome from literally the opposite side of the globe. Eco Kids bring up an interesting point. Says, hi Alex, Tesla needs a LiDAR. Well, it says liar, but I'm assuming you meant LiDAR as well as cameras. Here's the thing. Waymo and many other companies are doing it right. You need all three. There's a LiDAR, which can basically 3D imaging pretty precisely on a pretty good distance, but it's got its limitations because dust and fog can really disable it. Radar is doing much better job because it doesn't really almost care about weather conditions, but it's not as precise, and you do need precise understanding what's happening, because even which way a pedestrian is turned by recognizing his or her face is important. So you need a LiDAR, radar, and of course cameras you need for color, because neither radar or LiDAR recognizes color. So you kind of need all three. So Waymo is doing it right, and I hope Tesla actually going to go ahead and do it. Derek clarifies FSD, full self-driving. Okay. All right. Alex Z from Russia says, plus the rest of the industry will start producing everything electric, filling in all the niches. That is true. I mean, Tesla is on the clock, but Tesla has one thing that no one else has right now, which is a supercharging network, which doesn't seem like the rest of them are really working on that hard. So they're going to be the leader in that, definitely. Definitely for a while, at least 3 years if I was to predict this. All right, EcoKid says LiDAR is very cheap now. I wouldn't say very cheap. I mean, it's more expensive than a radar, but much cheaper than even 3 years ago. And Fisker actually using it in their new eMotion. So that's that. And I should probably do a separate show about the difference between LiDAR and the radar and the cameras and how the whole thing works. So never have enough time for that, isn't that's always funny. All right, guys. That's it. I mean, this was a full news day. Don't forget, tomorrow I'm going to go back on the air just like I do every day at 11 a.m. We're going to talk about more exciting news, of course. But for now, this is it. Thank you for joining me live. If you're watching in the replay, of course, please go ahead and click on a thumbs up. This video does much better if you do that. Other than that, see you next time. And remember to stay charged.